Chapter 23 Silver Immortal Soul. Lo Li was in a state of shock as he watched Lin Xiu back view as he left with his card. He had a premonition that Lin Xiu might truly become the #1 spear warrior in the world's ranking. Jinyao Academy's library was not the ordinary library of the past. The majority of libraries no longer used the old paper books of the past. The majority had turned to electronic books, and most of the libraries all had supercomputers that were capable of downloading information through the web. Aside from keeping historical items on the other floors, most were used to contain ancient weapons. The second floor was where skills cards were kept. Aside from basic weapon and cultivation techniques, the other skills required union coins or were rewarded by the academy. Lin Xiu noticed many students walking in and out upon arriving at the library. The gigantic library, it looked like it came out of a science fiction movie, but it was also filled with many installations. It was truly something he could only see in the movies in his previous world. Upon arriving on the second floor, Lin Xiu saw many glass displays with various bronze skills cards and felt dazzled by them. Many students relied on part-time work to earn union coins and purchase skill cards. In theory, only quasi-warriors had the ability to fully unleash the power of bronze skill cards, while official warriors and above could train in silver cards. There were extremely few gold and above skills. Even if it was on the market, it would be extremely expensive. Without overthinking it, Lin Xiu walked to the installation in the center and swiped the card provided by Lo Li. 2 cards slowly floated from the bottom of the screen. Both cards had various engravings on them with bold golden words in the center. Fundamental Spear Arts Cultivation Technique. Lin Xiu, I won't lose to you. Right at this time, Zhang Yi appeared from the side and spoke earnestly to Lin Xiu. Lin Xiu had become much stronger in a short period of time. The pressure on Zhang Yi was immense, but correspondingly it had incited an unprecedented fighting spirit. Let's wait and see, Lin Xiu replied indifferently. With both spear and cultivation technique at hand, he was only lacking in a weapon. But he had yet to become an official warrior, and could not enter the warrior union web to purchase weapons. So he could only head to the academy's spirit weapon establishment. There was a specialized weapon craftsman that forged weapons. Kid, what weapon do you want? Just as Lin Xiu walked in, a bearded middle-aged man spoke to him. A spear. Lin Xiu nodded his head and replied. Spear? The middle-aged man was startled before chuckling. I've just made a spear here. Take a look. Lin Xiu followed him over and saw a silver spear. It was glistening with a cold aura and looked extremely sharp. How is it? Want to have a go with it? This was made from Xinyu ores from Moonstar. No need to talk about its sharpness. It is capable to even break through the skin of a rank 3 evolved beast. The middle-aged man took a sword out and slashed onto a gigantic beast armor. Sparks were produced from the attack and left behind a deep scar. Lin Xiu took a similar style sword and tried it out for a bit. He even used his finger to touch the spear tip slightly, which instantly led to blood. It was extremely sharp. See? It's good. Special price for it now, 50,000 for one. The middle-aged man laughed and said, but it's a bit too light. Lin Xiu felt something was wrong with it, and after pondering about it, he felt that it was the weight. The unique point about Jinyu wars is its lightweight, but it is sharp enough. The middle-aged man added, but seeing Lin Xiu's dissatisfied look, he had to shake his head. There is a heavy one, but I'm afraid you can't pick it up. Let's try it. Lin Xiu's eyes lit up upon hearing that. Give me a moment. The middle-aged man nodded his head and walked into the back room. Lin Xiu took a look around, and the middle-aged man returned soon with a large wooden box. The wooden box was covered in dust, as though not been touched for a long time. The middle-aged man blew on it with a and the dust scattered away. Cough, cough. Lin Xiu covered his mouth. We haven't sold these heavy spears in a long time. Not because there aren't people who use spears, but very few can utilize such heavy spears. The middle-aged man laughed as he opened the box. A silver spear was inside, causing Lin Xiu's eyes to sparkle. This silver spear was different from the one before. It was not as bright, but had a reserved beauty. This spear was relatively larger than the others, and even though it had a weak glow to it, he was able to see the cold glint of the spear tip. Can I give it a go? Lin Xiu asked happily. Yes, you may. The middle-aged man nodded his head in approval. As soon as he took the spear, Lin Xiu almost dropped it. Do you know how heavy this spear is? The middle-aged man leaned against the table and asked rather excitedly, how heavy it is. After exerting his utmost strength to carry it, Lin Xiu finally held it tight. 65 kilograms. Damn it, Lin Xiu cursed. It was as heavy as a grown man. Ordinary people would not even be able to brandish it. It's called Silver Immortal Soul. It's made from Jinyu ore, but it uses the mother stone of the Jinyu ore, which is much heavier. Not only is it heavier, but its sharpness and durability are twice better than weapons made out of ordinary Jinyu ores. The middle-aged man wanted to laugh at Lin Xiu, but his mouth quickly gaped open, because right at this moment it looked as though Lin Xiu was actually dancing and getting used to the spear. Lin Xiu adored it more and more. Although it was heavier, he would get used to it through practice. I'm taking it. The spear cost Lin Xiu 35,000 union coins. Lin Xiu had changed his dorm to a standalone dorm. After all, he was no longer suitable on the other side, since Ma Qiang and the others did not dare to stay with him. When he returned to his dorm, Lin Xiu lay in bed comfortably, carrying the spear bag to a toll on him. He was definitely different with money. He was able to switch to a dorm just for himself.